Welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I'm CarrieVee, your biggest fan, the person who will believe in you until you can believe in yourself. And then I'm just going to keep believing in you. Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee is all things leadership, communication, confidence, clarity. It is all things life. And we've been talking over the past few weeks about empowerment leading up to my event, Radical Empowerment Live, which was fabulous. If you missed it, make sure you get in on the next one, which is tentatively planned for February. We're moving it to the winter, February of 2027, which feels like it's forever away, but it's really just a couple more months than if we had done it in a year. The feedback we received was, let's do it in the wintertime. So we're going to move it to the winter, but I wasn't up to doing another one in just a few months. So February 2027, I will have the exact dates to you. There will be all kinds of cool things leading up to that. Monthly Zoom meetings, which if you're on my mailing list, you will get invites to. So if you're not on my mailing list, make sure you hit a link down below to get on that list. All right. So we've been talking about empowerment, and we're going to keep talking about empowerment because it's a subject that is near and dear to my heart. I feel that the word empowerment has gone through a lot. It's been overused. It has been wrongly used. And it has been thrown out the door by a lot of people who say the word empowerment is dead, or the concept even of empowerment is dead. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a nanosecond. Empowerment is crucial to living an amazing life. But here's the thing. So many people have taken empowerment and made it synonymous with arrogance, and they are not synonymous, not in the least. I had people actually say to me, I don't need an event like radical empowerment. I already know how empowered I am. I tell people where to go and how to get there. That's not being empowered. We've talked about that. Telling people off, being rude to them, that is not being empowered. That is being rude. It is being arrogant. I've had people say to me, oh, nobody ever has to ask how I feel. They know exactly how I feel. I'm going to tell them. Well, that's not being empowered either. That's being rude and overbearing. Yes, we want people to know how we feel, but we can tell people how we feel and do it in a very kind way. When someone makes a mistake and they come to you and try to talk to you, telling them telling them off, being rude to them, not accepting them, not hearing them, but going into a litany of why they are such a bad person, that is not being empowered. That's being rude, is being arrogant. So the word empowerment and the concept of empowerment has been so misused. And so I will keep spreading the word of what empowerment truly is and why it's important in our lives until we don't need to do that anymore. And I mean, I would love for that to be now. I don't see that the case though. I hear so many people say also that they could never be empowered because they just don't have the power within themselves to do that. That is also wrong. It's a journey. And empowerment isn't something we actually ever arrive at. There's no arriving point. Empowerment is a steady journey. It's a journey of getting better every single day. It's not something we arrive at. And we want to look at not just being empowered for a moment, but sustainable empowerment. And that's what this podcast episode is all about. Sustainable empowerment. How do we grasp hold of empowerment and then sustain it? We all have moments and days where we're like, oh, I handled that so well. And the next moment we are sliding down the hill again back into old habits. That's normal. I asked about 3 people this past week. Can you please help me to hold myself accountable to getting up early again? Because over the last few years, really since my mom started getting sick, since I was diagnosed with cancer, had cancer surgeries, all of that in 2021, my mom passed away in 2021. I have never gotten back on track to the routine that I love, which is early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Benjamin Franklin. I do think that early to bed and early to rise for me is the best way that my brain functions and that my body functions at its peak. I don't function well Even if I have 8 hours of sleep, if they're from the hours of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., I'm tired all day long. But if they come from, if I'm sleeping by 9:30, quarter to 10, and I sleep 7.5 or 8 hours, and I'm up and I'm going, that's my best life. I know this about myself. I know my internal rhythms. And I have not gotten back on track in all these years, 4 years. I'm still struggling to get back on my routine. And I will have a couple of days where I'm there, and then I will fall back into old habits, because the habit now of staying up late and sleeping in, that has become, or making myself get up for something but then being tired all day because I didn't get enough sleep. This has become an ingrained habit that I now have to break and create a new habit. So I've been looking into, okay, how can I do this? How can I take back? How can I make sure that that's truly important to me? And, you know, to be honest, another part of that, of why it's been hard to get back into it, was getting these two puppies last June. And and they were rescue puppies. They were 7 months old, so they had a lot of quirks and things that we really needed to work on. They were both afraid of their own shadows. They were traumatized, and it was difficult to even, like, there was no sneaking out of bed. One of them was going to follow me, and we were trying to potty train or house train them, and we were trying to make sure they didn't go out of the yard, and it was a lot, and it was just easier. The easy road was to just lay in bed until there were two of us that could get up and deal with these puppies. And now I can get up and I can come downstairs, and they will stay in bed because they would rather sleep than get up with me anyway. And and I still need to and want to break that habit. And so I reached out to people. Can you please help me help hold myself accountable to create this new habit in my life? Because that's when I am the most empowered. You see, in empowerment, your first step is knowing yourself. What is it that you want in life? I want I want to be up, having read a book, or read, not the whole book, but pages of a book, have worked out, have showered, and I'm at my desk ready to jump into my day at 8 a.m. That's my ideal life. It kind of sounds like a corporate job, but it's what I love. It's what I love. Come 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I want to be able to leave my desk knowing that I've really worked a full day, so that when the grandkids stop by, I'm not stressing out because I didn't start working until noon. I know what my life looks like, and I know what fits best into my life, and holding myself accountable to do that is my empowerment. You have to know what yours is. Some people don't function while getting up early in the morning. So I wouldn't tell you that you have to be a part of the 5 a.m. club. You need to know you. So that's your first step on sustainable empowerment, is knowing you. So I'm going to give you five pillars of sustainable empowerment to help you on that journey. So if you have a pen, get ready to write these down. Here are your 5 pillars of sustainable empowerment. Number 1 is physical empowerment. Physical empowerment. I'm going to go through them all, then when I'll come back and we'll just give a little bit on it, because this podcast is already getting long. I'll give you a little bit on it, and then we're going to keep building on this over the next couple of weeks. So physical empowerment is number 1. Number 2 is mental empowerment. Your third pillar is emotional empowerment. Your fourth pillar is financial empowerment, and your fifth is spiritual and alignment empowerment. So those are your 5 pillars. Your physical. So let's go back to number 1. Your physical empowerment is your energy. And energy is agency. When your body feels strong, your mind is strong, and it's much easier to walk in that empowered life that you want. Your physical pillar is crucial. So things like movement and hydration and rest, they're all acts of empowerment. Me staying up binge watching Toll Time until midnight or after is not physically empowering to me, because I don't sleep as well, and I don't sleep as deeply unless I get to sleep well before midnight. So that's all part of my physical empowerment. Only you can determine what is yours. Making sure I am hydrated. I got really lazy on drinking water. How simple is that? But I got super lazy on it, literally being super thirsty, but pushing through my day because I might be too busy to take a sip of water. For me, how ridiculous is that? Things like movement. How often do I sleep in to the point where I don't have time to do a 25-minute workout? Those things are important. Your physical empowerment is crucial. So think through your day. What are the things that you need to focus on? Mine certainly are sleep, water, rest, water, and movement. Rest, water, and movement. Stretching is movement. Stretching is movement. I stretched this morning and I felt so good all day. I forget to stretch, but it is so important to get those ligaments stretched out. Nothing ached all day because I took 25 minutes to stretch my body. Those things are important. So see what you have in your physical well-being. What do you need to work on for your physical empowerment? Second pillar, your mental empowerment. What are you currently carrying mentally that you have no business carrying? What obligations? What obligations are you holding on to that aren't your obligation? We, especially as women, we tend to carry, sorry guys, I know a lot of guys do too, and women notoriously do this more according to the studies, every study I've read. We tend to carry things that aren't ours to carry. And we need to start putting those things down. Literally take them off your shoulder and put them down because you are killing your mental empowerment. Stop trying to load your brain up with everybody else's problems and drama. You are allowed to say, this is not a problem I can fix. This is not a problem that is my problem to fix. Everybody has challenges. Everybody does. If we are constantly swooping in and solving everybody else's challenges, as moms, we love to solve our kids' challenges. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be there for them, of course. But they also need to solve their own challenges. It makes them better people and makes them more empowered too. That's part of their empowered journey. Of course, be there for them, but you don't have to carry it all because it will take away from your mental empowerment. The third one is emotional. So I want you to feel your emotions, but I don't want you to be run by your emotions. That is emotional empowerment, is being able to identify those feelings and feel them without letting them run your day. Are you angry at something someone said to you? Acknowledge that anger, but then use it to fuel your day, not keep you from tapping into your day. This is one I struggle with a lot. I will, and I have over the past few years, allowed my emotions to completely run my day. This is not wise. In fact, this is stealing from your sustainable empowerment, stealing from my sustainable empowerment. Name that feeling, but then choose an aligned action moving forward. Your feelings are valid, but they need not run your day. That is emotional empowerment. Number 4 is your financial empowerment, but this isn't just finances like money to pay your bills. This is also your energy and your attention. So I want you to align your spending in every way. Where are you spending your energy? Where are you spending your attention? Where are you spending your finances? Get real with this. Get very real with this. I had to recently get real with myself on how much I was spending on fancy coffee drinks. Now, I'm not someone who's going to come on here and say you should never do that or that you shouldn't do it every day. I'm saying for me, I needed to really take a strong, hard look at that and realize that I was giving up some of my financial empowerment by stopping all the time. It didn't become a once in a while treat like it used to be. I had gotten into the habit of stopping all the time. A phone call on the way home. Hey, do you want me to stop and get you a coffee? Well, I have an espresso machine at home with a milk frother. I have, we love lavender in our coffee. I have lavender leaves to make my own lavender syrup. Have I done it lately? No. It's old habits that I find myself getting into. And so I needed to get real and look at that and take a look at what I was really spending. And did I want to continue spending that? Or did I want to change? In my case, I wanted to change. For you, it might be totally different. But that is the point. I want you to look at where you are spending your emotions, your finances, your time, and then determine if that's where you truly want to spend it. Because many of us don't want to be spending, especially our time and energy, where we're spending it. Make an audit. Do an audit. How many yeses are you saying yes to that you actually meant no? That is irresponsible spending of your time. Get real with yourself in every way, time, energy, and finances, and take an audit. Are you financially empowered, or are you financially struggling? And that's not just money. Money will follow your energy. So if you are spending energy foolishly, you're probably not spending money wisely. That hits me hard when I think about that. When I find myself buying something impulsively, it's usually because I've been spending my energy very, very unwisely, saying yes to things I have no business saying yes to, or allowing myself to spiral into this. Why did I do this? Why do I do this to myself? Do you know how much time I spend telling myself that I can't do something when I actually sit down to do it? It takes me like no time at all. That's a very unwise expenditure of time. So get your audits going. Get your audits going on that. Where are you saying yes that you just need to say no? Where are you saying no that you need to say yes? And where are you spending time, money, emotions, finances, all of that? Okay. And then the last one is your spiritual alignment. So this is you trusting the process. This is you realizing that growth isn't linear. This is you tapping into your focus. I know that when I take time every morning to have my devotions, to read my Bible, and to pray, my day goes better. I am faith driven. I am an extremely faith driven person. And if I don't fill my cup with that every day, I walk around emotionally depleted, lack of empowerment, because I'm not in alignment with who I am. Where is your alignment? And are you staying in alignment? So those are your 5 pillars of sustainable empowerment. They're not hard, but they're also not what the world says empowerment is. Empowerment is not telling people off. Empowerment is not being rude to people. Empowerment is not screaming at somebody on the phone or firing off a rude message on social media. I'm telling you, I think I've said that 3 times this podcast. I'm so sorry. I need to work on that. I posted a post on TikTok, I think 2 days ago, and it's in response to someone who didn't like one of my previous posts because they say I smile too much and that I'm only smiling this much because I have braces and I want to show them off. And so I did a video I did a video response and said, I smiled before I had braces. I will smile after I have braces. I will smile with my braces. I've always smiled a lot. I do smile a little bit differently now. One, because they have fixed my teeth. So my smile is wider simply because they put my teeth back where they belong. And 2, because it takes some effort to talk and close your mouth over metal. It just does. It takes some time to get used to. And so, yeah, it's different. And sometimes to talk, you are showing your braces because it's hard to talk over the braces because it's ripping up the inside of your gums. If you never had braces, you wouldn't know that. But this person was just accusing me of smiling only because I wanted to show off braces. And so I called them out on it and explained my side. Well, this post has gotten almost 30,000 views now, which for me is I have barely 1,000 followers on TikTok. It blows my mind that it has gotten this many views. And the comments, some of them are very encouraging, most of them are very rude and very mean. Those mean, rude posts are not people being empowered because they're saying what they want. That is people being rude. You got to be thick-skinned to have on social media, right? I'm having a blast with it, going back and reading the comments. They're funny. I don't answer them. I let other people answer them and go after these rude comments. Some people agree with the rude comments. I don't care. I really don't care. It's funny. But what saddens me is that there are all these people who sit behind a keyboard and are rude in the name of empowerment. It's not empowerment. If you want sustainable empowerment, these are the 5 pillars. These pillars I gave you, these are what make you empowered. And empowered people are kind, and empowered people are strong, and empowered people are helpful, and empowered people are intuitive, and they are empaths. Empowered people are not rude. They are not arrogant. So let's dive into what sustainable empowerment is. I would love some feedback on this. What is the pillar that you need to work on the most? Where are you struggling the most? And give me that feedback, and we'll dive deeper into that on the next episode of Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I am your biggest fan. Oh, well, that is your journal prompt. Which of the 5 pillars do I need to work on this week? What is my first step in the pillar that I choose? One simple step in that pillar that you need to work on the most. I love you. I mean it. And until the next episode, stay empowered.